Maybe it was a cell phone, a car, or a home. What were some of the objections that you've heard or may have had? If you turn to your worksheet here, I'm going to scribble down 1 or 2 objections. And if someone would like to share an objection, that would be great.
Costs too much.
All right.
I don't have the time.
Good. Okay. Any others?
Don't have the money.
Don't have the money. Okay.
I don't know how.
Great. Okay. All very common objections, right? So what do we do with them? How do we handle these objections as a salesperson? Keep in mind 3 points when you're preparing for objections. Notice I said preparing for objections. First, if you look here on the handout, it says an objection is not a, and it's a fill in the blank. And the first point is an objection is not a rejection. Remember that when people say no, they're not saying no to you as a person, they're saying no to the product or the service. A lot of salespeople run into trouble because they internalize this as personal rejection. And then they want to quit every day from selling what they're selling. As a life insurance agent, the first year I wanted to quit every day. I don't want to be a life insurance agent anymore. The second point is that an objection is not always a dreadful no. The third point I want to make is that objections are most of the time, and I wrote the equation up there, a question plus tension or a buying obstacle. Now what I want to do is look at what our buying obstacles are and how we can overcome some of these objections. Obstacles will occur, and instead of convincing and persuading people, you can help to remove them. People's nature is that, what Pat said before, people love to buy. They don't want to be sold to. So you use people's nature to help them to buy a product and not sell the product to them. A prospect might say, I don't have money to buy that, and all the other common objections that we're given today. It's important to understand not just the word, but the obstacle behind that objection. And there are 4 buying obstacles. They're listed on your handout here. There's no trust, no need, no help, and no satisfaction. Pat covered before that it's important to have that trust. And the buying process, you're going to have objections throughout the process, not just at that one point where you ask for the sale. So in the front, when you meet that person, you're establishing that trust, building that credibility, and using empathy to understand your prospect. With no need, sometimes prospects don't see the problem. It might be hidden or obscured, and so it's your job as the salesperson to help them discover what their need is. With no help, the thing with no help is that prospects understand they have a problem, but they don't understand how your solution is going to help them. Or they might think they have a better idea. Fourth, with no satisfaction, even after buying something, how many of us in here has ever had buyer's remorse? I know I have, right? You brought it home, you're like, I don't know why I bought this. It was a spontaneous thing that I got myself into. Okay. So with no satisfaction, am I really getting my money's worth? So with a lot of club members who join our clubs, they're probably asking themselves too, am I getting my money's worth with my membership in this club? You can remove these obstacles throughout the buying process by using a model that I call LSCPA. And what that stands for is listen, share, clarify, problem solve, and ask for action. Now, there are a lot of objections that can come up, but they sometimes don't really represent the true concern of the prospect. For example, a prospect might say, I'm not ready now. But in their mind, they're really saying, what does this really mean for me? Another example is, this is too expensive, or this club membership is too expensive. What they're really saying is, how am I going to convince my spouse about the value of this product or service? How am I going to justify spending this money on this membership? first two steps of the models are to listen and share. When you do this, you reduce the relationship tension, if there is any, in the sales relationship. Encourage the prospect to talk openly about any concerns that they might have. You might use phrases like, "Can you tell me more about that? Could you be more specific about your concern?" When you listen, you provide time and information necessary to analyze the concern of your prospect and the possible cause of the objection. When you share, you're also communicating that you understand the prospect's situation, and you want to demonstrate that you support and accept what they're saying. You can say, "Well, you're right. Tell me more. I can understand why you would feel that way. And if I were in your shoes, I would feel the same way." It goes without saying that you should avoid attacking or arguing with the prospect's objections. You can't calm someone's emotions by attacking what he or she says. But you can calm them by showing that you understand how he or she feels and that you acknowledge the importance of why they feel that way. The final three steps are clarify, problem solve, and ask for action. When you're clarifying, you want to understand that your prospect's concern is being communicated to you. You want to maybe rephrase what they said. "Is this what I understand?" And then rephrase their concern. You can turn the objection into a question as well and use a checking question to clarify. Some phrases might sound like, "So what you're saying is," and rephrase. "If I understand correctly, what you're concerned is that," and then rephrase that. "Is it possible that," and also use the rephrasing method. If during clarification they come up with a new concern, then you want to start the process again. And you want to go back to, listening and sharing and clarifying again. But if you've really got to the true concern, then you can go to the problem solve step next and then ask for action. When you problem solve, you really are discussing solutions to the real concern. And some of these problem solving phrases can be, "Here's what we could do," and then you outline some of the options that could solve their concern. Other thing is, based on what you said, my best recommendation is, and then what it is. Asking for action is basically asking for the commitment. It's the commitment to join the club, to pay the fee. Ask again, checking questions to make sure that the person is comfortable proceeding. Some questions you might ask is, "How does this sound to you? Should we go ahead and fill out your application? Should we go ahead and get a check from you? Which of these options would you prefer?" Again, if the prospect is reluctant to commit, there's probably more under the surface, and I've learned that through my 10 years of sales experience. You can do your best, but sometimes it really turns into a no. But there might be something more under the surface that you have no control over. I hope that this has helped you in helping to meet objections in the future. Remember that you are not just a salesperson in your club. You are a problem solver. People come through the door, they want to learn skills, and you help them to obtain those skills. Don't sell, but instead help your prospects buy. And you will have little trouble with objections when you're a person that they can trust, like Pat said earlier, a person that genuinely cares about them, and someone who knows what they're talking about. Thank you.